Chapter 9. The Slippery Challenge Skill Beam. Flow occurs at the edge of our ability, the spot where the task is hard enough to make us stretch, but not hard enough to make us snap, in what scientists call the flow channel. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi introduced this handy graph to illustrate when flow state occurs. To achieve a state of flow, you'll need to operate on a fine line between challenge and skill level. The idea behind this ratio is that attention is most engaged, i.e., in the now, when there's a very specific relationship between the difficulty of a task and our ability to perform that task. If the challenge is too great, fear swamps the system. If the challenge is too easy, we stop paying attention. This sweet spot is the end result of what is also known as the Yerkes-Dodson law, the fact that increased stress leads to increased performance up to a certain point. But if the stress continues after that point, the stress hormones become counterproductive or even damage your health. How far is that sweet spot outside our comfort zone of current abilities? Answers vary, but the general thinking is about 4%. That's it. That's the sweet spot. If you want to trigger flow, the challenge should be 4% greater than the skills, not 40%, not 400%, and definitely not 4,000%. The problem is that people are terrible at estimating their abilities. Says Dweck. Recently, we set out to see who was most likely to do this. Sure, we found that people greatly misestimated their performance and their ability, but it was those with the fixed mindset who accounted for almost all the inaccuracy. To find 4%, you need accurate self-knowledge, and this is tricky for fixed mindsetters. When you think about it, Dweck writes in her book, Mindset, this makes sense. If, like those with growth mindset, you believe you can develop yourself, then you're open to accurate information about your current abilities, even if it's unflattering. What's more, if you're oriented toward learning, you need accurate information about your current abilities in order to learn effectively. However, if everything is either good news or bad news, as it is with fixed mindset people, distortion almost inevitably enters the picture. Some outcomes are magnified, others are explained away. And before you know it, you don't know yourself at all. Here is where adventure and sport athletes have another advantage to tap into the state. In big waves, a degree of difficulty can mean the difference between home for dinner and never home again. Under these conditions, the desire for improvements comes from understepping, and the need for survival from overstepping. This also means they need to have great self-knowledge. If they consistently overestimate or underestimate their abilities, tuning that ratio is like playing Russian roulette. We often blow behind 4% without even noticing it in our day-to-day life, and also not without consequences. Just to name a few: anxiety, fearfulness, anger, frustration, a block on creativity. Or what about the physical symptoms such as headaches, backaches, or insomnia? In conclusion, we can say that the absence of self-knowledge makes it harder to tune the challenge skill ratio. Equally vexing, if the resulting feedback is unflattering, fixed mindsetters tend to distort the bad news, making it even tougher to remain dialed in. A growth mindset moves us in the other direction. Self-knowledge accumulates over time, and finding flow becomes less a quest, more a habit. In other words, a growth mindset not only helps create more flow in the moment, it helps create more flow over the long haul. And when it comes to flow, the haul is far longer than most suppose. Case Study 3. The Impossible in Chess. Josh Waitzkin is a peak performance polymath. He started out as the real-life version of the child chess prodigy portrayed in the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, earning the title International Chess Master before 16. Next, he ventured into martial arts, becoming a world champion in Tai Chi and then turning his attention to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, earning a black belt under legendary fighter Marcelo Garcia. Afterward, he became a writer, publishing The Art of Learning, which has since become a high-performance classic. This makes Waitzkin a great exemplar and a great case study for our quest to understand the state. Here's Waitzkin sharing his flow experience. Here I was, in a strange, faraway land, sweating in the oppressive heat, trying to find my beloved art in the figurines in front of me. Above me, thousands of spectators hung from the rafters, whispering, staring at the chessboard like sutra. Somehow, chess and India resonate like ancient lovers. I was disjointed, out of whack, not yet settled into the rhythm of the tournament. Even for the master, sometimes chess can feel like home, and sometimes it can be completely alienating, a foreign jungle that must be explored as if for the first time. Across from me was the Indian national champion. In between the two of us lay the critical position of our struggle. We were 3 hours into the battle, and I had been thinking for 20 minutes. A curious thing happened at that time. So far, I've been grinding my way through this game. It was the first round. I had no flow, no inspired ideas. The pieces were alien. The position, strange. I was trying to find my way home. Then, there was an earthquake. Everything started to shake and the lights went out. The rafters exploded with noise, and people ran out of the building. I sat still. I knew what was happening, but I experienced it from within the chess position. I was in the zone. First, you're a person looking at a chessboard. You calculate through the various alternatives, the mind gaining speed as it pours through the complexities, until consciousness of one's separation from the positions ebbs away. And what remains is the sensation of being inside the energetic chess flow. Then the mind moves with the speed of an electrical current. Complex problems are breezed through with intuitive clarity. You get deeper and deeper into the soul of a chess position. Time falls away. The concept of I is gone. All that exists is blissful engagement, pure presence, absolute flow. There was a surreal synergy of me and no me, pure thought and the awareness of a thinker. It wasn't me looking at the chess position, but I was aware of myself and the shaking world from within the serenity of pure engagement. And I solved the chess problem. Somehow the earthquake and the dying lights spurred me to revelation. I had crystallization of thought, resurfaced, and vacated the trembling playing room. When I returned and play resumed, I immediately made my move, and went on to win the game.